Well, good evening again, and welcome to tonight's presentation. I'm so glad to have all of you here today and to hear Nathan share with us about his experiences and his testimony, and we're so grateful. For those of you that don't know, Nathan and I do know each other. Nathan is my sister-in-law's brother-in-law. Cousins, roommates, uncles, once removed. No, so my sister-in-law's brother-in-law. It is that simple. It just feels like it's a little more complex. So we're glad to have all of you here today. And with that, I'll turn it over to Nathan. We prayed earlier, if anybody is worried. We did that. So without any further ado, let's welcome Nathan.
I'm here tonight to talk about my deafness, the past challenges in my life, the future challenges for the rest of my life. My hearing loss has truly impacted my life in many different ways. Thank you for inviting me to come speak here tonight. I'm very honored and happy to be here to share my deaf experiences with all of you. As some of you may have watched Northern Illinois University football games on TV or maybe have gone there, you may have seen the hard-way trademark on the bottom of the football helmet. The hard-way trademark that NIU defines the history of the football team overcoming so many difficult obstacles and getting themselves on the ride to national exposure without giving up and believing in each other. The NIU football team also have a culture of proving many doubters wrong. I strongly feel related to the trademark slogan at NIU. This slogan has become a personal meaning that defines myself. Not that I only went there for college studies. I lived my life the hard way by believing in myself while growing up and overcoming so many difficult obstacles and proving a lot of doubters wrong without giving up. I was born on February 1982 in Rockford with an auditory nerve loss. My hearing loss was discovered until a much later time. My mom suspected that I was not hearing anything for a while. While I was 18 months old, she did an at-home experiment to verify my hearing ability. She grabbed a kitchen pan and stood behind me, banging them as loud as she could. I was now responding to the banging noises from each pan. This experiment showed my parents that I'm deaf. I went to the audiologist for some hearing tests, and these results verified that I am deaf. I began wearing hearing aids right away at 18 months old. Putting these hearing aids on for the first time was not the resolution to my hearing problem, as I was at a beginning of a long way to go with my deafness and the challenges that I would be facing for the rest of my life doing the hard way. At the time hearing aids were put on, I did not respond to the sounds coming into my ears because I did not know how to respond to them. It took a few years for me to finally know how to respond and react to the sound. For a while, if someone was calling my name to get my attention, I didn't know how to react to the name calling. In other words, it was like sounds coming in this ear and sounds traveling through my head and sounds going out the other ear. While discovering this hearing loss at 18 months old, I had to learn English and sign language at the same time because I was not speaking at all. According to my mom, it took a few years to finally learn how to listen to the sound and react to the sound. I began talking at 3.5 years old after a preschool commented that I would never ever speak in my life. From that time up when I began speaking until the end of junior high, I attended speech therapy for 2 to 3 days a week. There were so many up and down in speech therapy. The hardest thing for me in speech therapy were pronouncing words and that word that start and end with act and act. And I also had a hard time pronouncing things that had a TH or an SH at the end of the word. While developing language, sign language, and speech therapy, I attended preschool with other deaf kids going through the similar situation that I was going through. The preschool classes had teachers and teachers aid that sign and communicate with us and be able to teach us. Throughout elementary school, I attended deaf classes with each deaf classmate where the teachers signed and educated us. It was a very slow learning class where it took a much longer time to develop language and other subjects. As I reached junior high school, I started to mainstream where some of my classes were with teachers and students that do not use sign language, but the classes required a sign language interpreter to be there. For example, STEM, art classes were the mainstream classes that I had to go when the interpreter was there. I continued to take some deaf classes when it comes to English, algebra, history, science, and so on. These deaf classes were still slow learning, and I was sort of behind on vocabulary and language. While attending junior high school, I was starting to understand what was going through my life with my hearing. I realized that I had been labeling myself as hard of hearing instead of a deaf person. One day in junior high school, a teacher who was also my case manager was introducing me to another teacher or some student teacher and said that I was a deaf student. It became so bothersome to me in my mind that I did not like to be called a deaf. While I saw a different teacher one day, I told her about it, and she said that the teacher was more focused on my audiogram rather than who I am. I did an audiogram up there, that's an example audiogram. All of my audiograms from every hearing test that I have taken truly identify me as a deaf person. And I don't truly function like a deaf person. I strongly believe that I function more like a hard of hearing person. In other words, the word deaf more often comes to the definition of mute and no ability to vocalize. In a word of hard of hearing, it more often comes from the definition of the ability to speak and hear something and not hear some other thing. I confronted the teacher and I asked her to please do not label me as deaf and please label me as hard of hearing. She did not like my wishes. We compromised for the time being and agreed that I would be labeled as hearing impaired. I went to high school and I began the first 2 years by taking some deaf classes and some mainstream classes similar to what I did in junior high school. Then I needed to get myself prepared for college coming up, and I completely mainstreamed in every single class for the remainder of my high school years. It was a huge challenge for me because I was behind on language and vocabulary. However, I was very fortunate to get help with teachers after school. I just needed high school with a diploma. Toward the end of my high school years, I had two deaf teachers point out that there would be no way that I would be successful in college and that I would never be able to graduate college because of who I am and the low language and the low vocabulary I had. It was so bothersome for teachers like that to be so negative on me and not having any faith in my future. Their comments became so personal to me. Because this happened, it became a huge motivational tool and a constant reminder to me in the back of my head that I had established a personal goal beside the primary goal of getting a college degree. My personal goal was to prove the teacher wrong. I felt like I had to show them that I could be capable of doing anything and being able to graduate with a college degree. I was on a mission on doing my personal goal the hard way. College was very challenging for me, especially studying at Rock Valley College, which is a community college in Rockford. It took me longer to finish out community college than I started taking below 101 level developmental classes. I took tutoring sessions for a lot of classes in community college. All of my classes had note takers and a sign language interpreter provided throughout the community college. I was very active working through the student newspaper at Rock Valley College as a sports writer, sports editor, managing editor, and editor-in-chief. There were so many people across the college campus saying the newspaper would never be successful in winning the state among junior college newspapers because a deaf guy is running the newspaper. It turned out that my newspaper was ranked first in the state in overall excellence and layout during my time as editor-in-chief. It was a great feeling to prove these people wrong, and I was doing this the hard way. It took me 4 hard working years to finally graduate with a college degree, an associate in art degree at Rock Valley College. I knew I could graduate college, but I felt like I needed to prove these high school teachers wrong by doing more. I wanted to continue doing the hard way. I wanted to make my lifelong dream come true by attending Northern Illinois University in DeKalb. Going to NIU was the best experience I ever gone through. Not that I only became a huge die-hard NIU football fan with football season tickets every year. I love NIU with all my heart. The university means so much to me. Everyone was so good to me at NIU, meeting all of my needs of needing an interpreter, note taker, and whatever things I needed to be successful in college. I became a vice president for Deaf Pride with a student organization promoting deaf awareness and deaf culture across the NIU campus and the community of DeKalb. I also served on a Students with Disabilities Advisory Board at NIU to improve accessibility needs across the campus. I graduated NIU after 2.5 years after being there with a Bachelor of Arts degree in art. It was an icing on the cake that now I have 2 college degrees under my name, and that I defeated my personal goal of proving these high school teachers wrong once again. 2 college degrees, which is the biggest reason why I relate myself to the hard way slogan that NIU has. I currently serve myself with pride having 2 college degrees under my name. I continue to carry on myself through the hard way through the working world. During the 10 summer years as a high school and college student, I worked at Magic Water Park doing groundkeeping, maintenance. A supervisor told me that I worked so hard on the job all the time and that I deserve to get promoted, but I will never get promoted because I cannot function with a radio walkie-talkie. Being told like that wasn't totally right to me. I spoke with some higher-up people, supervisors, about it, and they believed that I deserved to be promoted no matter if I had a hearing loss or not. They were so feared to have this happen to me. They corrected things and have made several accommodations in order for me to become a supervisor without having a radio walkie-talkie on the job. For the last 4 or 5 years on the job, it went so smooth and worked out so well for me. After being laid off at a factory job in the Rockford area, I had so many different job interviews in the Chicago area. I was turned down at a lot of positions that I applied for. A lot of warehouse jobs did not want to hire me because of safety reasons like forklifts moving around. I felt like it was not fair to be given a chance for 1.5 years without a job. Thanks to a very special family friend of mine, she got me a job to work for her department at a temporary position back in 2010. And then I moved on to a department for the long-term permanent basis, and I worked my way into my current position. I am now a telematics product supervisor at Power Solutions International, which is an industrial engine company in Wooddale, Itasca, and Hanover Park. I have been with the company for 9 years now. The company that I work at have been so good to me and have made accommodations for me. I work in an electronics lab studying office filled with 5 computers with doors locked and closed. I have people knocking on my doors, and sometimes I don't hear the knocks. I was given a doorbell outside my office doors, and it helped a lot when people push the doorbell so I can hear the doorbells to respond to them. I heavily use face-to-face communication, email, text messaging, and being able to communicate with my coworkers and customers. A funny story happened to me about 12 years ago. It's okay to laugh because I think it's funny now. And I have told so many people about this story. One morning I was going to a Cubs game with my best friend, and we were waiting for the metro, and we saw a McDonald's. And we got in line, and we were just signing to each other while waiting in line. And as we got up to the front, we got a Braille menu, a menu for blind people. We were just so confused. Well, so the lady at my best friend was telling the lady at the register that we cannot hear or we could speak. And he was like pointing at me, that Nathan, you can see, he got glasses. And after this happened, my best friend and I were just sitting down, and we were just saying, wow, we just couldn't believe what happened. So he text messaged his friend and told him about what happened. Oh, that's nothing to them, because it's happened to them before. So we were just shocked and going for it. I strongly believe that so many businesses out there, retail, library, whatever, they need to be trained on how to interact with people with special needs and disabilities. I was very impressed with the Rockford Park District who gave mandatory training to domestic water park employees on how to interact with special needs people. And I was so glad to be a part of that when I worked at the water park. I married my wife Carrie almost 10 years ago, and she does not have a hearing loss at all. I have been often asked what it is like to be married to someone with no hearing loss. There have been times when a lot of things have been misheard or misunderstood, but we work together talking often to clear things up. And there's been times in the middle of the night when she wakes me up wanting to talk to me. She's trying to talk, and I'm trying to read her lips. She's moving her hand. I'm sorry, my hearing aids are out, and my glasses are down. I can't see her. When my daughter Nora was born almost 6 years ago, everybody had the big question wondering, will she have a hearing loss or not? After Nora was born and took the hearing test, we found out that she did not have a hearing loss. I became very emotional with tears rolling out of my eyes. I was so relieved because I did not want her to be going through the things that I had gone through in my life with my hearing loss. Even though it was not a big deal to other people, I would ask why was I so emotional about it? I told them that they cannot seem to sense my emotion in this situation because they have no experience of having a hearing loss. I wish I had power to trade places with people for 1 hour to know what it's like to be deaf. As I'm thinking a lot and comparing from today to when I was born, I cannot believe how much improvement there has been in technology. I have been often asked how well I hear with my hearing aids on and off. With the hearing aids on, I hear a lot of things about 80 to 85% of the time. Without the hearing aids, I hear absolutely nothing. I cannot hear my voice without the hearing aids on. I feel like there are two different sides of me. Like one side of me, I could be completely deaf without the hearing aids on, and one other side of me being hard of hearing with the hearing aids on. I wore my first hearing aid for about 16 years, and then I was introduced to some well-improved advanced hearing aids shortly when I first started college. These new digital hearing aids were digital hearing aids. The nicest thing about these digital hearing aids we are seeing out there today is it has the ability to have do many different things than the first hearing aids I had. These hearing aids that have a green comfort level 5. And one thing are completely loud way up there. It brings it down to the comfort level 5. And anything that is so quiet down, it would push it up for me to hear better, like whisper, anything small. And you know, it's like when things are like, so loud, it pulls it down to a comfort level about where I'm like, nah, it's not loud, you know. So there, with these hearing aids, I heard a lot of sounds that I had never heard of before. These digital hearing aids picked up sounds that my older hearing aids were not able to pick up. I heard water running for the first time. I heard birds and crickets chirping. I heard air blowing out of the vent. I heard fans blowing. Hearing these kind of things were amazing to hear, even though those noises don't matter most of the time. Afterwards, I recently got another new set of hearing aids about 3 years ago, and these hearing aids I have on right now have really picked up communication ability and improved for me, and I was able to communicate better with foreign accents, people with foreign accents. I was able to hear and comprehend better with these foreign accents in order for me to communicate better with them. I work a lot with people who speak Spanish and Polish. With hearing things about 80 to 85% of the time, I still have to rely on face-to-face communication in order to read lips. This is how I grew up. And if someone looks at me the other way, I would not be able to understand them. For example, if I turn the radio on, I would hear the radio talk, but I don't know what they're saying because I'm not able to read their lips. It's the same idea of talking on the telephone. I don't use the phone at all because I use face-to-face communication. Technology has improved so much by providing many different ways to communicate, which would be text messaging, email, Facebook, FaceTime, and of course the non-modern technology of face-to-face. When watching TV or movies, I heavily rely on closed captions to understand what is being said on TV. The cool part is movie theaters are now starting to provide closed captioning to any movie you want to see. The theater provides a rear view, like a device that's shaped like a rear view mirror, and you put it in your cup holder and you move it around and you put it right in front of your face and you watch a movie. I was so happy they're starting to do this in the theater, and I have been going to the movies a lot more than I ever had. Many people ask me, how do you wake up in the morning? I have a flat round device that is plugged into an alarm clock and it vibrates in my pillowcase. It was so hard to ignore the vibration unless you want to hit the snooze button to sleep a little bit longer. I never had this alarm clock until junior high school. My mom had always had to wake me up in the morning before then. Religion had become a huge part of my life, especially now. While growing up as a kid, I hated going to church in general because I had no interpreter. I just pretty much just sat there in the church services not being able to understand anything. I have gone to Sunday school for the first few years. I did not like Sunday school at all because I was not able to understand anything. I stopped going to Sunday school. I have gone to confirmation. I did not understand anything, and I just sat there. It was no fun for me at all. I just pretty much stopped going to church after high school. I have gone to a few Christian non-denominational interpretive worship services during college, and I really enjoyed it. I I stopped going to church again when I was in a long-distance relationship with my girlfriend, who is now my wife, because I also came to the Schaumburg area to be with her on the weekend. My wife and I got married at a Lutheran church in Arlington Heights. I love the fact that I had a sign language interpreter as my wife. For the first several years, Carrie and I often argued that we should go to church more often. I told her I did not like going to church because I would just sit there and not understand anything. When a pastor throws in a small joke, I just sit there and watch everyone laugh. It bothered me so much that I was not able to laugh along with these people. There's been a couple Sundays when I am just so grumpy, and I just take it out on Carrie because I'm just depressed sitting at church, not understand anything. When my daughter Nora was going to be baptized, my family friend, who is here tonight, Joey, set off and paid for an interpreter to come to her baptism. When I met the interpreter at the baptism, she began coming to my church to interpret once a month. It was the beginning of a brand new deaf ministry. I don't know how much I can thank you, Joey, for getting me started on fulfilling interpreting needs at church. You have also helped me with deaf ministry project I had at the church with fundraising. The deaf ministry was a self-funded ministry where I collected money through fundraisers and offering donations. My family and I transferred to Prince of Peace Lutheran Church in Schaumburg 2 years ago. I had a strong vision of having a deaf ministry at Prince of Peace. I approached the church pastor about having a deaf ministry. He supported the idea. The pastor even told me that before he was the pastor of Prince of Peace, he had so many different connections with deaf ministry that other churches, and he even had connections with deaf people. The interpreter that I had at my previous church followed me to Prince of Peace. She now interprets at Prince of Peace 2 Sundays a month. The deaf ministry has grown into something very special. We are now starting to have deaf people show up at Prince of Peace. We are becoming a successful ministry with fundraisers and having lots of support from our congregation. My deaf ministry is now collaborating together with a deaf ministry in Downers Grove by doing a monthly Bible study. Every other month, Bible study would be at Downers Grove. Every other month, it'd be at Prince of Peace. With the collaboration of 2 ministries together, we are known as the Chicago Lutheran Deaf Ministry of the ELCA. I no longer hate going to church because I finally have the resources I need, a sign language interpreter, and deaf people to worship with. I am much happier now on Sundays now because I love going to church. Ever since I started attending Prince of Peace, I have helped this church become a much more accessible church for deaf people to attend. The church has a strong desire to bring more deaf people to Prince of Peace. This church continues to amaze me with the great support that I get from my pastor, the church council, the congregation, and the community. I love my church family with all my heart. About almost 2 months ago, I got to meet the ELCA Director of Deaf Ministry, Reverend Beth Lockhart, during her visit to the ELCA Chicago offices. Beth is from Pennsylvania, and she runs 2 deaf churches in Philadelphia. I had a great meeting with her, and it was a great learning experience to learn of many different ways to grow and expand deaf ministry and bring more deaf people to church. Beth and I are still in touch, emailing everything we had a meeting. Beth gave me a directory of all ELCA churches that have an interpretive deaf ministry in the ELCA church located in the country. Overall, there are 19 interpretive deaf ministry ELCA churches and 6 ELCA churches in the United States. In other words, Prince of Peace Lutheran Church in Schaumburg and Gloria Dei Lutheran Church in Downers Grove are the only 2 ELCA interpretive deaf ministry churches in the Chicagoland area. After my meeting with Beth, I sent out an email to my team of people about how my meeting with Beth went. The executive director of Prince of Peace, Mark Walsher, said, "Together we are beginning to actualize the transition in our deaf ministry from being the little engine that could to one day being a locomotive moving full steam ahead down the tracks. As I have grown up deaf, doing the hard way, my life will continue ahead with future challenges and obstacles. I am on a mission to provide deaf awareness and educate people out there with my personal deaf story that I just shared with you tonight. My mission is to show that deaf people can do anything but hear, and they do it the hard way. My deafness keeps my life going because I continue to prove people wrong. I continue to overcome challenges, and I continue not to give up. I will not allow anyone to tell me no because of my deafness. And I'm going to find ways to work around the no answer by compromising. I am a strong believer in myself, and I strongly believe God keeps me going. And this is how I will continue to do the hard way for the rest of my life. Thank you.